Shalom, Israel. What's good, y'all? I, Atlas, am back again with another interesting video. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was not planning on talking about this topic at first. As a matter of fact, I was planning on just dropping this topic and talking about something else. But it bothered me way too much to just leave it alone. Several concepts like this has bothered me a little too much to leave alone and not say anything about. So I decided to throw my 2 cents in. Now, before I begin ranting off for a good 1/3 of an hour, I would first like to put out a disclaimer. For the first time in forever, Tux Studios is going into a topic based on a string of videos that isn't exactly the child-friendly concepts that we usually talk about. So no Sonic or Dragon Ball type stuff this time. It's pretty disturbing. We'll be talking about things like SA to children, torture, and a whole lot of darker topics. So if that makes you uncomfortable, I suggest you click off this video and click one of our other more wholesome and more entertaining videos. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're still watching this video after the disclaimer, be advised I did warn you. So relax, sit on a couch, maybe grab a drink, maybe like a nice water and some healthy chips, and let's get into this debacle known as Terrible Mouse. So the series known as Terrible Mouse was created by a YouTuber by the name of Guitan, with the first video ever titled anything about Terrible Mouse popping up on December 29th of 2024, which seemed to be like a short 15-second video, basically giving a little trailer to the full animation that would come out January 15th of 2025, which is the current year of this recording. The series follows the main character Robbie, survive a demented hospital after him and his friends meet up with a mouse by the name of Lorna. And after an unfortunate event with this mouse, he and a boy by the name of Luke are trying their best to survive and get out of this hospital together. By the time of this recording, episode 3 of this series is the most recent episode of said series. Now with the summary out of the way, time to get to the part that I really want to get to, and that's the series in of itself. Now, as an artist, I feel like I feel a little bad about just talking trash about a topic or a creation, regardless of how disgusting or negative I feel about it. So at the very least, I shall give Guitan the respect of giving props or positive praise to the good parts that I've seen in Terrible Mouse from the 3 episodes that I viewed. So first off, let's start with the art. The characters are nice, the art style is memorable, and all of the scenes and backgrounds are very well done. I can really see that Guitan has put a lot of work and effort into trying to make this animation as good as possible visually. I also really like the way they animates the character Lorna. Her movements, her body language, and her laugh is all so interesting. All of the visual traits that Guitan puts into this character, as well as the character Damu, who for a while I was calling Dam because of a mistranslation in episode 2, right? Is really well thought out, and I really like that about the series. I'm not gonna be on a tangent just talking about just how terrible this is, right? Because as an artist, I could see just how much effort and just how much, style this man has put into his project. So I gotta give props where props is due. That is really impressive. Oh, alright. Now it's time to talk about the reason as to why I made this video in the first place. Now, it's time for the segment where I fill this entire video up to the end with nothing but cons. We'll first start with the first episode, every problem I had with that episode in its entirety. Let's first start off with the way that Lorna acted with Ross in the first episode. Now, this episode was covering how Robbie and his 2 best friends, Ross and Nana, entered the hospital because both Robbie and Nana were sick, where they then met the mouse doctor Lorna, who convinces them to go to the waiting room where all the other children are, only to then attack them and drag them to a torture chamber where she then brutally mauls and kills all except Robbie, who is then later revealed to be alive within the next episode. But as I said, this is a discussion about the first. So within the first episode, the first couple of problems I need to list off is one, the way that Lorna acts towards Ross. The first time that I realized that there was something wrong with the way she acted towards him was when she pushed him down the flight of stairs to the waiting room before he entered the waiting room, because he was like suspicious of her. Because out of his friend group, let's be completely honest, he was the only one of them with functioning brain cells. Like the other two had only 2 brain cells each inside of their head, and both brain cells were fine for third place. So he gets pushed down the stairs, right? And that's already brutal. That's malice. There's no real problem with that because, you know, it's supposed to be a malicious character. Of course, they're going to push a child down the stairs because why not? That's not what bothered me. It's what she did next. As Ross was trying to get up after getting pushed down the stairs, and I really kid you not, I really hoped that this was like a joke. I wish that I could just like, gotcha. What actually happened was, but no, this is what happened. She proceeded to bounce down the stairs using her rear, and then proceeded to plant said rear after hitting a 3-foot vertical after bouncing down the entire flight of stairs with her rear onto Ross, slamming him down to the ground and against the door that she then later burst open into the waiting room, thus thereby planting him to the ground under her. Now, why? Why did she need to do that? She could have done literally anything else. She could have walked down the stairs maliciously before kicking him through the door. She could have jumped down the stairs in a similar fashion only to then drop kick him. Why did she have to land on him in such a perverse way? Especially considering the fact that, mind you, Ross, Robbie, and Nana are all children. They are all children. I cannot stress enough how much of children they are. Then, within the waiting room, all the kids are going around, you know, talking to Lorna, hugging on her. And Nana, who, before she went to the waiting room, was showing, like, interest in Lorna, a weird, like, oh my god, she's so pretty, doki doki, weird crush, which I didn't like, obviously, because, like, for one, you're a girl. When in God's name do you have it wrong with your head that you're trying to be attracted to another female in that sense, right? But 2, I never really felt comfortable with when characters of any sense, where children characters of any sense would be like attracted to adult character and then act upon these attractions, because don't get me wrong, right? Kids are kids, right? They might not understand what they're doing, so they might try to crush on adults. That's not weird, but what makes it bad is when the adult doesn't put these actions down and instead tries to support them, which is what happens in this scene, where Nana asks for a not so innocent hug with Lorna, because all these other kids are getting like innocent little hugs on, oh my god, look at the big soft mouse lady, and Nana wanted to hug, but for a different reason than all these little innocent boys and girls, right? And Lorna, seeing and knowing why she's trying to hug her, rather than go like, never, I don't feel comfortable with this, or maybe later, or giving her a little head pat and keep it moving, what she does instead is openly accepts the hug with Nana, again, completely knowing Nana's thoughts in this hug and not reprimanding her for it. But of course, you could go like, oh, she's a malicious character, right? Of course, she's trying to gain the trust of the children. She's trying to convince them that she's a trustful, loving person. But mind you, these are small potatoes to what happens later. So obviously, Ross was the first one to figure out that there's something wrong with Lorna, especially with the way that she was smiling whilst hugging Nana. So Ross tells Robbie, hey, there's something wrong with this mouse lady. And sure enough, Lorna drugs everybody in the room. So hijinks ensues. Ross grabs Robbie and tries to run out the waiting room, up the stairs and out of the hospital. But Robbie realizes that one of them was left behind, Nana, who's currently getting choked out by Lorna. Now, this isn't really like a super negative thing. This is more so on the thing that I don't like about this character specifically, right? And it's just, I'm going to make a phrase for this, and it's all real Israelites hate Robbie. And what I mean by this is that Robbie is such a cowardly, pathetic individual that when he sees his friend Nana being choked out, he could have done anything. He could have thrown his shoes. He could have tried to tackle her, which another character did in another episode. I'll talk about that later. But instead, he throws his wet, slimy scarf on her face, hoping she'd drop her. Obviously, this doesn't work, and this ends up with him, Ross, and Nana all getting captured, along with all the other children getting dragged to the torture room. And as the room name suggests, Lana proceeds to torture and brutally mutilate these children. Now, of course, it's a horror series. It's a very disturbing and very messed up series, so I was expecting for the children to die in some way, shape, or form. My biggest problem was with how she killed Ross. Now, I won't get into too much detail, but the things that she does to Ross in the beginning of his torture scene with a metal spike and hot chili pepper sauce is downright putting her on a watch list. Like, it's so disgusting, disturbing, and like fetishy that I'm like, Jesus, what is this? Like, this is so out of pocket. This is so unnecessary. This is so bizarre, right? And that immediately started to put me off. Like, the scene was so bad that I couldn't even say anything as I was watching it. Like, throughout the entire scene as I was watching, I was like, commenting on small things. But I just couldn't find any words to say about just how brutal and disgusting the torture scene for Ross was. Also, Nana died too, but in comparison to what happened to Ross, Nana's torture scene was like a normal torture scene, what we expect, a brutal murder of a character. Cool. But and another thing is, after she had killed Ross and decided and went on her little chase spree after Nana and Robbie, who had escaped their restraints during his death scene, she proceeds to sit on Robbie's corpse, cradle his head in between her thighs, rub his head tenderly before snapping his neck. Mind you, he's already dead at this point, so that was unnecessary and, again, very fetishy and very, very weird. I'm gonna skim through the other two episodes because I feel like that one was the worst. But like in episode 2, we get to see Lorna killing a bunch of children within a fight ring, where she put them all in a cage suspended in air, and every few minutes after she killed one child, she would then pick a random child in the cage, bring them out into the ring, and beat them to death in front of a bunch of other experimented mouse and creatures. Now, within this scene, it's revealed that Robbie, all real Israelites hate Robbie, survived after getting all of his friends killed because he wanted to stay behind and be absolutely useless as always, right? But like I said, this isn't really a review of the series, so I'll just skip to my problems with the second episode. Now, the second episode isn't really that bad, I'm gonna be honest with you. Sure, I have a couple problems with how characters would act, like how they would let others be killed without doing or saying much of anything. Include especially the new character that is introduced called Damu, who is just a slime boy. Like, he has like a sticky, almost corrosive substance like surrounding his entire body, and he could have most definitely taken out Lorna earlier on in the episode, which he then later does. So for him to wait until later just bothered me. But like in terms of like freakiness, the second episode is very, very, very tame. You know, like, oh, like you could say, oh, the way Lorna's moving is perverse, but it's like, she's just moving over exaggeratory, so that could just be nitpicking, right? The biggest problems come with the third episode. See, during the third episode, Namu got beat in the second episode after saving Robbie and a new character named Luke from Lorna. Those two escaped and are in a lower part of the hospital within this episode, and they find a map of the hospital, and they're like, okay, we need to get to the upper floor so that we could get back to the lobby so that we could escape the hospital. So those two make a semi-alliance of sorts to work together. That's just for context because, like I said, this isn't a review of the series. This is more of a nitpick of the terrible things that happen within it. And Namu's torture scene is almost just as bad as Ross's. The only difference is Namu doesn't die. Now, Lorna personally brings Namu, the slime boy, to her room where she changes outfits and shows off her outfit to the boy. Now, one thing that irked me or made me raise an eyebrow is the fact that she got mad when he didn't respond to the outfit. Like when he was more interested in why on earth was he in a room, or why did she burn him, or why was she killing more humans? She seemed more interested in that than this little boy not praising her for her quote unquote cute outfit. But it's whatever, right? So they both basically have like a tug of war of psychological ideas where Damn You is saying, hey, you shouldn't be killing all these children. That's wrong. I understand that you hate humans, but not all humans are bad. These children should be suffering for things that scientists have done to you. And Lorna goes on her little tangent of, no, all humans must die, blah, 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 blah. And it comes to this one scene where after she's done burning hot coals into his body, right? She decides, you know what, bro, I'm tired. I had to fight a bunch of kids before this, so I'm about to go sleep. And there's this really weirdly perverse scene where as she's trying to climb into her bed, she stumbles and falls into a position to where she reveals that she's not wearing pants to dom you. I can't really express her pose because, again, not trying to get demonetized, right? But she basically flashes her rear at Domyu, and I'm thinking to myself, again, this is a kid. Why are we having scenes like this for children, right? And her response to him saying, hey, you should probably put some pants on, is that I'm a mouse. I don't need pants. I bet you don't wear any either. And it's like, okay, that's a weird statement, but it's like, whatever, right? She's gonna be mad about it, probably burn him with some more hot coals and leave it. No, that would be the normal thing to do. That would be the same thing to do. Instead, she decides to grab this man's clothes and lift up his shirt to try and look at his lower region just to see if he's wearing pants or not. Luckily, he was wearing pants under his freight jacket shirt thing. Sorry, I'm even after reviewing the footage again just to check, I'm still not sure what exactly type of shirt upper covering he's wearing. But when she sees that he's wearing pants, another thing I'd like to point out is that she seems disappointed by this, and there's way too many times where I've seen her get disappointed by a non-sexual response from a character that, mind you, is a kid within this episode, within this scene, and it's just so bizarre. It's like, why? These are children, right? And with that, the episode ends. Now, I don't think I really have to go into a tangent about this, but like the cons that I have with this entire series is that it seems to fetishize the murder of these children and the relationship that Lorna has with not only killing these children but also the children themselves. And that's something that I really, really don't like, because that makes Lorna feel a whole lot like a PDF file. Now, don't get me wrong, terrible people in terrible works like horror shows and the like, that isn't like a far stretch concept that's been done time and time again. But for this it doesn't feel like it's being viewed negatively. It doesn't feel like these perverse acts are being treated as the terrible things they are. It feels more like they're being viewed as, oh, haha, funny scene as if it was like some anime or some like adult older cartoon. I'm not gonna say like adult cartoon, but like an older cartoon, and it's just it's bad. It's bad. I really don't like that. I don't like how certain characters are made to be useless just so they could be murdered and slaughtered and butchered and etc. But I'm really more focused on the PDF file elements to the character Lorna, and I feel like more people should be pointing this out. These are literal children. They should not be put in sexual like scenes like this. Like them being killed, them being massacred in gory scenes like this, it's already a weird topic, and loads of people have their own varying opinions on it. Me personally, I wouldn't reanimate or draw scenes of children dying like that, because that's just not where my interest lies. But like, for the sexual scenes to be added, it's very weird, it's very feshy, and it's almost as if Guitan has like a hidden like lust for the idea of PDF file like stuff, and it's just weird. It's weird, and it shouldn't be in the concept. It makes the entire experience feel weirdly sexual when it shouldn't. Like I watched a YouTuber by the name of Querello, I believe. And when I watched his response video, although he didn't voice any of his negative claims on it before, he also was one who to openly point out that the creator knew what they were quote unquote knew what they were doing when they were making certain scenes with Lorna, right? And again, I would like to assume that Gutain is like adult animator. They can do whatever they want. But like context of the characters in question are being antagonized, tortured, and the like by Lorna being children, it feels out of pocket, it feels weird, it's disgusting, and nobody should be supporting this. I'm really surprised that not only the series already have a wiki by the second episode, long before the third episode came out. Like by the second episode, they already had a wiki, but it also seems to be growing fan base that already make fan videos of it. Based on the quality of videos and the quality of the fan art, it seems like a lot of the people that are liking this are younger audience, and that is bad because this video is tied 18 plus, but it's like the demographic that's circling on this adults, and it's just a really big problem. And I really hope this is resolved, that more talk about this, that this project gets nuked off the internet, because I would like to say that Gutain has this series more, either gets rid of the character Lorna entirely or reboots the series, but I don't even if that should be a thing. I just believe that this series could be bumped off the internet because this behavior is disgusting and should not in no way be permitted. The way that I feel about not murder, Terrible Mouth is similar to the way that I felt about this one artist's Tale AU universe called PJ Dare, and the way that they show the baby fans acting with a character named PJ. The same PDF file, like interactions that those characters had with PJ, if the way I feel with Lorna, I do not like it. I not like it. But yeah, with that, we're in the segment of the video where, as an artist, I gotta admit, potential to this series was there. Like the original concept for this series is very interesting. I was brought into this concept because the original idea for this, like the inscription, when you hear that, it's like okay, seems like you're cooking, but then cooking nothing. So here's three things I believe that if the idea, the beginning cover to be taken by any competent writer, non-G writer or series creator, here's the three they should do, right? Three things they should do. One, they should make targets not children. It doesn't sense for her to attack if adults were experimented on her. As a matter of fact, the most addictive she should be with them. Children shouldn't be suffering things that Ross, right? Like, shouldn't be going through that. Don't get me wrong, and that they also eat these. They're also a source of food. So I can see elements of, hey, moms, like it's food. Okay, fine, I understand that, but understand a levelity. But I don't believe children should be the only thing on the menu because it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Number, I really hope that person stops making. I really, not this person, really hope that if they face this idea, they more competent characters. Those competent characters that I interact with Lorna, this terrible series, right there. Luke and Dom you barely. Luke, wait, no, not just Dom you, and R.I.P. Boy Ross, right? The three characters were the only that actually did anything. Just all kind of felt samey. This edge boy who really fit in with a real troublemaker, a real rowdy bunch. Doesn't make sense because it feels like within this series, kids can only fit roles and characters can only fit roles, and that's you're complete and other word and you're useless into the word, or you're useful and you're keep getting shafted by the category, right? The third I'd like to list off that humans should in this organization. That was something that I was already a little confused and irritated about when it began. And humans take this hospital. Like within the second ending of the second and good portion of the episode is shown that the ones that control the organization, which episodes revealed to be half, are human. But that doesn't make because of Lorna as well as experiments had hatred to humanity. Like even you're gonna say, oh, you're not working by choice. That because we see positive to her command, her human command, by saying when the human commands her to take to her room to torture him, she's the, and I'm paraphrasing, you, I love, right? And I just feel like that. How are you gonna put this point of humanity and you're so if you're human boss? I don't. I feel like it's really written. I feel is really written. It's a good given to a person that push their terror onto their, and I don't like it, but I like it. I do not. I don't. I like the concept. I will that with all my whole. The original was pretty interesting. It was good. Exploring a rye and fight humans. That's a concept. But everything that is terrible. Whew, okay, we have been rambling on for way longer than I actually planned on. I really did plan on only having this video be of roughly 20 minutes, but like at 26, 22 right now as I'm speaking, and I just, no. I can't keep talking about this terrible series any longer, right? So I'd like to thank Israel. Thank you all you warlords and princesses that have watched the video to this point, that have sat through this and watched the entirety. I probably wasn't your most interesting YouTuber to watch. I'm probably not the biggest figure, but to all my loyal subscribers and to all the people that come in every day to watch my videos, I really, really appreciate you. And I want you to know that, right? I really, really appreciate every single one of you. With that being said, I am really, really trying to make more videos like this, and I'm planning to about series that had like really, really high potential, but squandered that potential with like really, really poor or disturbing or disgusting execution, right? I at first I was kind of trying to find my groove in terms of making videos on YouTube. I feel like I might make a couple more videos like this. I'm not saying that the entire channel of TUS Studios is just going to be changed to a rant channel, but it's kind of fun. I felt like I enjoyed myself with this video. Also, Salakia to you all if you heard me stutter or make like a bunch of grammatical mistakes within this video. As you all can probably tell, this was not scripted. This was just, I got home and I was like, nah, I just gotta get this off my head. I gotta get this into a video and I gotta put this, I gotta put this out there because I don't see enough people talking about it, But anyway, I think you again, all you warlords and princesses of Israel, I really, really appreciate all of you that have subscribed to my channel, that have viewed these videos. Again, I cannot stress this enough. I love all of you. And anyway, it's time for me to clock out. This video is going way, way too long and the editing is going to suck. But anyway, Kwam Yashala, Israel, and it is good to be back. See you all in the next video. Stay frosty.